Now, obviously, it being a week to week situation, now people are propping up Brock Purdy and Tyreek Hill, right? Um, if y'all had to choose, which one would y'all do? And I'll bring some stats up here in a second, and after hearing some of y'all hearing with y'all how y'all feel.
I'll take the cheetah. I definitely take the cheetah based on the fact that he's a one man wrecking crew, in my opinion, to an extent. And I feel like Purdy he has too much help around him to be considered MVP, in my opinion. You have literally Pro Bowlers around you, to where it's just like, I'm not necessarily questioning your greatness all the way, but it's just like, I just can't give you the hands down, you're the best guy. Like your tight end's a Pro Bowler. Two of your receivers are possible Pro Bowlers. Your running back's a Pro Bowler. Your fullback's a Pro Bowler. Your lineman is a Pro Bowler. I mean, literally, your whole offensive team is a Pro Bowler. 5 of your players are Pro Bowler. No, that's just, I can't give it to you, brother. I don't even think I think Tyreek has maybe Tua and Mostert as Pro Bowlers. That's it. And maybe somebody on the offensive line. That is all. That's 3 other guys, if 3. Waddle, I think Waddle kind of got slowed down this year. If he didn't get slowed down, he may have been a Pro Bowler himself. But yeah. Because that does make you question if you threw Brock Purdy on the Cleveland Browns, does he still have the same success or even close to it, or is he even gonna even be starting anymore? Kind of makes you scratch your head a little, just a little.
Oh, the base is gone. Okay, so
Audacious here. What's up with it?
what's the noise in the background?
Hold on.
Oh, that's the AC. That was the AC, my bad.
Nah, you good.
Dacious, who would you lean towards for the NFL MVP?
Dak
Purdy?
Prescott. Oh, sorry. Who was
I was
who
gonna
was
say,
it? My bad. I didn't know you was gonna list people. My bad. Sorry.
Brock Purdy or Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill hasn't missed a game of consistency, and Brock Purdy has missed 1 or 2. And as the trajectory goes, maybe 3. And so, as the trajectory goes, my boy could possibly set a record. You know, we didn't shout out Deron Bland for setting the pick 6 record. By the way, I just want to do that. But Tyreek could possibly do the first receiver to 3,000, and that'll be grand. That'll be like some like, you expect a tall receiver, a tall, fast receiver to do that, but the fact that he just shred everybody, and is fit to be on pace for and is on pace for 3,000. That's crazy. So that's who I would give it to, and he's just been a dog. He's been a dog. You know,
I
it's
think you could think. Sorry.
no, my bad, and it kind of feels like he's edging out in the who needed who conversation, right? So it's like, yeah, let my boy have it, man.
I think we did kind of talk about this as well, about not necessarily greatness, but success. I think I was a little bit more on the lines of the receiver kind of having their own success without their quarterback. and people were against me about that. I mentioned, somebody, and they just were more focused on the comparison rather than the idea of what I was talking about. I said when Deion Branch left Tom Brady, he still found success or managed with still being able to like be successful. It don't mean at what level, but he still found success. So I kind of feel like this kind of plays somewhat of it to where this is what I kind of thought was going to happen. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is still going to be great, but nowhere near the guy he was with Tyreek. And I think Tyreek was still going to be able to make some shit happen. Obviously, make some shit happen. He's breaking records.
Yeah,
People just focus more on the comparison. Forget the comparison. It's about the situation.
I don't know who this Darnell is that you brought to the podcast tonight, but I love it. Keep bringing him to the podcast because boy, yo, I'm like, yo.
All right, so the numbers that I have at hand, you got Tyreek Hill is on pace to break Calvin Johnson's receiving record. Calvin Johnson in 2012 had 1,964 receiving yards. Right now, Tyreek Hill is on pace to surpass that with 2,000 receiving yards, right? And so Brock Purdy, obviously, he does what? He beats the Eagles, he beats the Cowboys, and you know the thing, like you start to see the media and them getting the buzz, and obviously they have an influence on who's going to be your MVP, and people are starting to talk about like, oh, Brock Purdy, because sometimes the MVP it seems that like it's a unanimous or
it's undeniable.
No, I can't think of the word I'm looking for currently, but it's a quarterback award for the most part. It appears to be that way, right? And so,
gotcha.
So when I see that, okay, Tyreek Hill is on pace to break Calvin Johnson's receiving record, I'm like, okay, when Calvin Johnson had the receiving record, did he win MVP? He did not win MVP that year. Playing with the Lions, obviously, the Lions wasn't known for winning a lot, despite having Megatron. However, who did win MVP that season when Megatron broke the receiving record was none other than Adrian Peterson. No, it wasn't Tom Brady. It was Adrian Peterson, a non-quarterback. It was a non-quarterback. AP had over 2,000 rushing yards. Over 2,000 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns on the season. And so I'm just like, all right. Obviously, that was I think it was Eric Dickerson's record that Adrian Peterson broke that year, right? And you kind of like fight between the two of just like, all right, you got AP breaking a rushing record, you got Calvin Johnson breaking a receiving record. Obviously, both of these players are astronomically important to their team in terms of most valuable, right? And I think it would be absolutely criminal to give Brock Purdy the MVP or to even consider him. It's criminal to consider him as an MVP, right? Off the sole fact that when McCaffrey was out, when Debo was out, Brock Purdy played the worst stretch of football in his NFL career. It was evident when those guys went out, Brock Purdy wasn't the source to their strength.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the source to their strength. He was not playing great. It wasn't like, oh, we lost Debo, we lost McCaffrey for half a game. Hey, Brock, go out there and make plays. No, Brock struggled immensely. Now you got Debo coming back. They win a few games. Bro, that's a well-oiled machine. Give it to Mike Shanahan before you give it to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is in no way, shape, or form. Now, had he still played afloat, it's coming up on me. Try to pull up these numbers on Brock Purdy when everybody was out. When they lost, had he still been performing at a top tier level, all right, Brock Purdy, you in heavy consideration. I mean, and it may even be yours considering you a quarterback. but you don't struggle the way he did during that stretch without McCaffrey and without Debo Samuel and say he has like potential to be an MVP. Absolutely not the case. Because I'm convinced even at this point, I'm convinced at this point, if you give me a little bit of time, give me an offseason and have Shanahan coach me up, man, plug and chug that offense. Can you throw the ball? All right, like let's go. You know what I'm saying? Think before the season, Brock Purdy was at plus 2,500 to win MVP, and now he's at 300. Like that's a drastic jump from go to plus 25 and not just plus 3. It's like, bro, like don't disrespect the game. Please respect the game and make sure that MVP award, if not CJ Stroud, make sure that MVP award goes to
Dak Prescott.
Yeah, goes to Tyreek Hill. In my opinion, I feel like you got to get an MVP award to Tyreek Hill. Considering what he's doing, considering it was somebody that wrote up this illustrious article on like why you need to be cautious about taking Tyreek Hill this past week. I forget who they was going against, but you need to be cautious because they play this type of defense and they don't want to let people take the top off and they're going to try to neutralize Tyreek Hill. Yeah, we see how they went. Darnell, you know how they went firsthand because you got Tyreek Hill on your fantasy team. But yeah, bro. Without Tyreek Hill, without Debo Samuel, they played against Cleveland. They had McCaffrey that game, but they didn't have Debo. He didn't have Debo to throw the ball to. They lost to Cleveland, right? Obviously, Cleveland defense is like up there. No, I'm lying to you guys. Well, no, I'm gonna assume I can't remember exactly when, but I believe the Cleveland game is when Debo got hurt. Maybe Debo and McCaffrey. That's when they had got hurt. Then they had to play Minnesota. They had to play the Vikings. McCaffrey was able to play, but there was no Debo Samuel. They lost. They only put up 17 points. Yeah, this is the game because we talked about this earlier, a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, so with Debo Samuels and no McCaffrey both on the football field, Brock Purdy was only able to amass 17 points. And those are all in losing efforts.
Yeah, I'll tell you everything you need to know.